This episode of One Hit Thunder is brought to you by DistroKid. Matt really let this one slide for no other reason than it's one of his favorite songs, but there's a pretty good chance you don't know The Whole of the Moon by the Waterboys. In this episode of One Hit Thunder, we dive into this overlooked gem from 1985. Matt discovered the song through a Netflix Christmas movie, while our guest Paul Menotiades heard it through a friend, and for both of them, it left a huge impact. We explore the rich history of the Waterboys, a band led by Mike Scott known for their unique blend of rock and Celtic music, and discuss how The Whole of the Moon reached its peak position on the alternative charts in 2019. Join us for a passionate episode celebrating a song that has stood the test of time and continues to resonate with a new generation of listeners.
One hit is all you need to make the money guaranteed, and you can live off royalties forever. And it makes me wonder, is it just a wonder, or is it one hit thunder?
Paul is back. Paul is back. I know he's eyeing up that guitar over there to play. What did you play? You played, last time you were here, you played
Save Tonight.
Save Tonight on acoustic. You made me almost like Save Tonight.
Right.
That was a good job. But today you're here to talk about a song I'd never heard before I was getting ready for this episode. But apparently you and Matt both love this song.
Yeah, I bent some rules so that we could do this a little bit.
We are talking about Whole of the Moon by the Waterboys. Not to be confused with the Adam Sandler movie,
right.
The Waterboy.
No,
the Waterboys are a band from, I think maybe Scotland or something.
Ireland? What did you
So
say?
they formed in London, but their influences draw from Ireland and Scotland.
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
Of course.
So, how do you guys know this song? I mean, it was a minor. Was it any sort of hit whatsoever in the United States in the 80s when it came out?
Not in the 80s, no.
Right.
Okay.
So how did you discover the song?
How did a friend from high school?
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like their favorite song, and so I gave it a shot, and I honestly didn't like it at first. But it grew on me. It grew on me, and now I really, really like it. Yeah. And when I was looking over the list, and I said to Matt that I was considering it, I could see his excitement to do it.
I
So
couldn't wait.
So I said let's do it.
So what I wrote down with this song, to answer your question, we won't waste time getting to this. So this is the band's signature song in a very prolific career in the UK. They had this massive career in the UK. When it came to the United States, they never had a song hit the charts until 2019. And I'm about to say a movie title that, Chris, you're going to be like, oh, of course. After the song appeared in the Netflix Christmas rom-com Let It Snow on November 8th, 2019, the following week the song hit 22 on the alternative songs downloads chart.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's the only time they've ever even hit the U.S. charts in any way was off of this random Netflix Christmas movie.
You're saying in 2019?
In 2019.
Matt loves this freaking
I
Let It
love
Snow
this
movie too. I've heard him talk about this Let It Snow movie so many times between all the podcasts he does. I can't. Who's in this movie?
Nobody famous.
Okay. Not a single famous person.
Joan Cusack is in it.
Okay.
That's about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's about it on the celebrities. So the thing with this song, and I do have to describe a scene in Whole of the Moon.
Okay.
But the concept of describe the scene in Let It Snow. So Let It Snow is basically kind of like a 3 different stories of coming of age teen stuff all on the same day that all like end at the same Christmas party.
Okay.
And the one story is about a friend, about a guy who's friends with his next door neighbor who's a girl, and he's in love with her, but he doesn't know how to tell her.
Right.
And one of the things that they do is that they're both musicians, and this is the song that they constantly sing together.
Yeah.
So this is where I'm going to get into where this is like the emotional song for me for a bit.
Okay.
So I used to do that with my friend Megan.
Right.
We weren't like a romantic thing, but we would play cover shows, and then she got really, really, really sick. And when this movie came out, we would talk about this song as like, it was like our song of hope of like, when you get better, we're going to cover this song together.
Right. Okay.
Unfortunately, she never got better.
Right.
And she did end up passing away, and we never got to play this song. But when I read the lyrics of this song, it literally feels like they're describing my friend Meg.
Wow.
Because like about this song, we'll dive into the Waterboys fully, but I want to explain like why this song is special to me and why I think this is a really special song. It's a song that's like who it's about has been up for debate for a really long time. And the main focus is that it's about that type of person that sees the world slightly differently than you do, and you being envious of their point of view. So he says, like, the opening verse, he says, I picture a rainbow and you can hold it in your hands. I see flashes when you see a plan. I can wander the world for years and you just stay in your room. And when I see a crescent, you can see the whole of the moon. Like this idea of just like anything that like someone who's so smart and creative and different that it makes your own creativity seem so tiny in comparison.
Right. Yeah.
And like that was kind of how Meg was for me. Like she would send me demos and I would just be like, you're a fucking genius. Like, it'd just be like so frustrating. I think everybody has a friend like that that humbles them.
She had the same kind of respect for your half of it.
I think so. I think it was like a mutual appreciation. But it's like I feel that way about a lot of my friends in podcasting, where I'm just like, man, you can like see an idea that I missed. I didn't think about this. And I wonder, like, even as musicians, I'm sure
it happens.
No matter how good you are at guitar, you're always going to bump into someone that's just like, how the fuck did you learn to play like that?
Yeah. And I think I mainly think that with two things. I think that with songwriting.
Yes.
I mean, anybody could I don't mean to downplay it, but anybody could practice a whole lot. I'd be like, I know how you got there, but if someone can magically make this song exist out of thin air, I tend to be. Or the other thing I will say to that, I'm kind of going against what I just said, but drummers, that's like magic to me.
Drummers, playing the drums.
I mean, good drummers.
Yeah,
I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah,
that is.
It's like a whole other thing. You have to train your body to be playing so many different things simultaneously. It's insane.
The coordination and the crazy stuff. I mean, I'm blown away by drummers all the time. So that's where.
And not only that, how difficult it must be, but the physical side of it. It's they're sweating the most when we.
Yeah, it's a workout. It's a workout for sure. But as far as this song goes, I mean. This song's so new to me that it hasn't got time to grow on me. Obviously, it got to grow on Paul because he didn't really like it that much at first.
Right.
There's a lot going on. It doesn't make me... I guess it gives you that sentimental feeling.
Yeah.
I think about like whether a song makes me want to dance. Or it makes me want to fight.
Yeah.
Well, so the funny...
Or makes me want to make love. Although I don't really think that's one of the things I go to music for.
Right.
Well, so one of the weird things about this song is that, like, you mentioned, like, does it make you want to dance, right?
Yeah.
This song was like, so it said in 1991, the Waterboys kept changing, like, band members and stuff. This was years after the song came out. He really started to get hooked on, like, doing authentic Celtic music.
Okay.
So he did a lot of that stuff. And at the time, he went to New York, and he was surprised to find out that in the 90s, a reissued version of the song Hole on the Moon had gained a whole new lease on life in the dance and rave scene as a come down track towards the end of the night. Like, so this was the song towards the end that would like bring people down. And then it became like their signature song all across the UK because it was like a minor hit even in the UK.
Yeah.
But it just like started to connect with people years after the fact.
It was a minor hit back in the, it was a minor hit in the 80s.
Yeah, in the 80s. And then in like the mid 90s, it started to like have this second life in like the rave and club scene.
Yeah.
So you're saying I need to experience this song on some kind of weird rave drug from the 90s.
And after the fact, come down and be like, all right, it's time to go to bed. Hole of the Moon. It's setting the mood for me.
Wiping the Vaseline off my face.
I love that Vaseline is your continuous go-to.
That was always my first impression of seeing someone that went to a rave. And I'm like, why is their face all shiny? Oh, that's Vaseline. I guess that's to cool you down.
I don't know. Yeah.
So
or it feels real good.
Maybe.
So Mark Scott is the guy from the Waterboys who's the main brainchild of all of this.
Okay.
And I told you guys before we hit record that the song's lyrics have inspired speculation, and some have been rebuffed by the writer. The song began, he said, as a scribble on the back of an envelope on a wintry New York street after his girlfriend asked him how hard it is to write a song. He then kept that envelope and started adding further lyrics when he returned back to his hotel. And by the time he got back to London, he had the finished song based on like what he had seen looking in the sky. All music has suggested that it's the subject of a number of different people who inspired him, including C.S. Lewis and the musician Prince. Scott himself said that he could not have written the song without the help of the novel A Winter's Tale, but went on to say that it is not about the author of A Winter's Tale. The official Waterboys website's frequently asked questions clarifies that Scott said that the song's subject is a composite of many different people, including C.S. Lewis, but explicitly said the song is definitively not about Prince.
Okay.
This is my favorite sentence in this whole thing, though. Musician Nicky Sudden, whom Scott had collaborated with before forming the Waterboys, claimed that the song was written about himself. Scott specifically rejected this claim.
Nice.
You know, how ballsy would it have to be to just be like, this song about a great creator that he's jealous of? It's about me.
Jealous of myself.
That story is somewhat similar to the story of our boy from the Hooters writing One of Us.
Yeah.
Eric Bazillion from the Hooters wrote, What If God Was One of Us song? Because he went to the studio and he had his girlfriend with him. She's from Sweden.
Yeah.
And he was showing her like, oh, this is where I do some recording and stuff. And she's like, can you show me how to use that? Like how you use it. So he just sat down and he just off the top of his head wrote the What If God Was One of Us song.
As a thing to just record in order to show an example of something.
Yes, just to show like how you do it. And it became a hit song.
Awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
You
need someone to challenge you to write a song.
Well, it sounds like that's how this song started as well. It was like
show me how you write a song.
Just a task. Well,
and here's the crazy part about that it was like a challenge song. When asked about the song's durability, the fact that all these years later, he said, I think it just has a timeless sound to it. And I know the lyrics can mean a lot to people. If a lyric is true when it's written, it will remain true to this very day. The Hole of the Moon still means a lot to me. It's one of my only old songs that I've never grown tired of hearing or performing for people.
Right.
Okay.
So it's like this song that was basically the answer to a question his girlfriend asked him is like one of the only songs he's still like 30 something years later. The song still means a shit ton to me.
Wow.
He finally did have a quote of who this was about, sort of. He said, Hole of the Moon is about someone like C.S. Lewis, someone who can just see so much and explore issues so much more deeply than most other people do. But I also feel like it can be about a Jimi Hendrix type of person who comes in like a comet blazing his trail, but then is gone too soon. Yeah. It's not specifically about anybody, because that's when you get into the chorus. He says, you were at the turnstiles with the wind at your heels. You stretch for the stars, so you know how it feels to reach too high, too far, too soon.
Yeah.
But you saw the Hole of the Moon. Oh. So there's a theory that it's like, not only is this person really creative, bring it back to me thinking about my friend Meg, this creative person just wasn't here long enough to fulfill their visions of what things could be.
Right.
And it's like, that's where you get into like the bridges. The C.S. Lewis part comes in a little bit more, because like C.S. Lewis is like Chronicles of Narnia guy.
Yeah. Right.
So he's talking about like the unicorns and all the fantastical, like out of this world ideas. Like, just how can this guy create this whole world out of nothing that's filled with so much allegory to say about things. Like, so that's a little bit of Hole of the Moon. But for this band in general, he just like, the band broke up in 1993 and then reformed in 2000, but he was a solo artist during that. And he said, to me, there is absolutely no difference between a Mike Scott solo album and a Waterboys album. They mean the same to me. They're just myself and whatever my current traveling musician companions can create.
Okay, so we're talking. Mike Scott is Waterboys.
Yeah,
he should have just been the Waterboy. Why would he just be the Waterboy?
The Waterboy.
Well, because there were like 9 of them.
Let me turn this screen around real quick.
At least on the cover art.
That's the past members list of the Waterboys still continues down the entire side.
It is. You brought this up earlier. It's very Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Right.
It's like, this is an insane long list of past members.
I mean, if you're a really good songwriter and you don't have like a steady band, why wouldn't you just love the one you're with, whoever you're with, and you want to contribute to your album? There's millions of amazing musicians out there, so that's not too crazy.
No.
Hey there, One Hit Thunder listeners. Are you ready to take your music to the next level? Well, get ready to rock, because this episode is brought to you by DistroKid, the ultimate digital music distribution service for artists like you. With DistroKid, you can easily upload your songs or albums to online stores and streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music, reaching fans all around the globe. But that's just the beginning. DistroKid offers a ton of awesome features like Hyperfollow, which helps you promote your releases and get pre-saves on your songs, all for free. But wait, there's more. The DistroKid app is now available on iOS and Android. With the app, you can manage your releases, track your streaming stats, and even withdraw your earnings, all from the palm of your hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. This powerful tool allows you to put the finishing touches on your tracks in minutes, ensuring they sound polished and professional every time. But that's not all. DistroKid has just launched a brand new feature called Instant Share, allowing you to easily share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more. With Instant Share, you can keep your music streaming at the highest quality while making the best impression possible. So what are you waiting for? Elevate your music career today with DistroKid and unlock a world of possibilities. Possibilities that I know all about because I've been using DistroKid for years. It's seriously great. If you haven't used it before, you're going to love it. And One Hit Thunder listeners get an exclusive offer, 30% off your first year with DistroKid by signing up at distrokid.com/VIP/OneHitThunder. That's distrokid.com/VIP/OneHitThunder.
What's up, everybody? I am Finn McKenty, host of the Punk Rock NBA podcast, part of the Sound Talent Media Podcast Network. My podcast is all about doing what you love for a living, and every week I sit down and talk to people who have done exactly that. For example, musicians like Tommy from Between the Buried and Me, Matt from Periphery, Lil Lotus and Shinigami, among many others, photographers, artists, designers, YouTubers like Glenn Fricker and Sarah Dici, and I unpack exactly how they got to where they are today with the goal of helping you do the same. So if that sounds cool, you can listen and subscribe at soundtalentmedia.com, and I'll see you there.
In the darkest corners of the internet, a nameless, formless entity has been growing. No one dares question where it was created or what it wants, but those who have been entranced by its musings chant its blood-curdling name in unison. Horror Movie Night!
Find Horror Movie Night on your favorite podcasting app or at hmnpodcast.com.
And Die Hard said that the band kind of went through 4 distinct phases.
Mm-hmm.
There was their early years, which they referred to as their big music years, which because they had a song called Big Music, fans associated with that. That's where this is.
Oh.
This is where it's like studio heavy production, layering. There's
a lot going on.
Yeah. Then it becomes folk music right after this.
Whoa.
Like after this album, he strips it all down to like, let's be like a 4-piece guitar, bass, drums, someone who can play like a more rootsy sound. Let's go for folk music. Then they went back to that big music for a couple albums before they just kind of
phase 3.
That's phase 3. And then the final years is a blend of all of those sounds on every album. So you'd have like folk songs and big rock songs.
Okay.
But he used to refer to his band as just a raggle-taggle band of misfits.
Yeah, Paul compared it earlier to that scene in Dewey Cox, I believe.
For sure.
I mean, that was supposed to be the Brian Wilson thing when he was doing that, and just whatever he could add to it. This band, I mean, for the songs I listened to, kind of reminded me of that. And I don't really like this band that much. I probably like Waterboys better than this band, but like Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros.
Yeah, I could see that.
Lots going on.
I could see that too.
And I like when I read about his ideas of songs, like when he's describing them as like, oh, this is what this album was going to be like. When I was doing the research, the album after this was described as a pop mixed with rootsy Sgt. Pepper's is what he was going for.
Right.
Like he has big ideas, and kind of the big thing later on in his career, which like no one anticipated being this big change for him, was that he then wrote, where was it? He had an idea that harbored in his head for 20 years about the poems of W.B. Yeats. He put them to music and created an entire stage show called An Appointment with Mr. Yeats. And they held the world premiere that went on for 5 days in Yeats's original theater that he built in Dublin. The 5-night show sold out so quickly and received such rave reviews that they were forced to record an album version of the songs that he composed for
This
it.
dude loves to read.
Yeah, he's definitely, you know how like there's those dudes, all their songs are based on books? I think that's Mike Scott for sure.
Yeah.
He's a big reader.
Yeah, I was going to say that before I remembered that C.S. Lewis wrote like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and stuff, I was like, damn, this guy loves the screw tape letters. That's a deep high school literature reference for anyone out there.
If what was I going to say? Well, what's weird to me is like, yeah, it is folky sounding already, right? But it's got like a big fat snare, you know? It's like the production, like you said, is
I get why people thought that this could have been about Prince, because it feels like a Princey type production,
right?
In a way that it starts simple. It's like the piano, the snare, the guitar, and then as the song keeps going, it's like more and more
rich.
Yeah,
it's like it fills. It does the things. Look, at first, it's not doing much of anything. It's like it's just hanging on one chord. You know what I mean? Honestly, And then the melodies are doing everything, right? But then, as each section, it spells out more of what it was like implying before. You know what I mean?
And it fits in with, because I think the part that usually gets me a little choked up in just like the way it's constructed is that like it's when he's describing the person, it is like what you said. It's just raw. It's it's not a very complicated song. It's when he starts yelling the part about unicorns and cannonballs and palaces and piers, and he's describing all these fantastical things. All of a sudden, it's just like this crescendo of like horns and violin. He tries to like, you can almost visualize like a Big Bang type situation where like he's just describing all these ideas exploding out of this person's
horns are like
head.
Super triumphant.
And the music is fitting that like unstoppable force of creativity that's exploding. And then, you know, he ends with the like, you were gone too soon, but still saw the whole moon. And it's just an immediate stop. It's not a fade or anything. Like it's like the song symbolizes this person's life,
even to the end,
right there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I took that away from what little I know and experience I have from this song. I thought it was a song about like someone dying.
Yeah,
honestly, like a lot of the lyrics that I read from this, I thought I didn't really pick up on that part until you said it, Matt, about someone being super and that makes sense now that you say it.
Yeah,
but
one of my favorite lyrics for that is he says, "I just saw a rain-dirty valley and you saw Brigadoon," which I'm not sure if you know what Brigadoon is, but it's a 1947 musical about this random area in Scotland where once every 100 years a giant festival appears if people are looking for it.
What?
Like he's just like, I just saw dirt and you saw this magical thing of this musical. Like it's like the reference points are just so. He's got to be one of the most well-read people we've ever talked about on this podcast. Man loves his musicals and his books.
Yeah, I got to read more books.
Right. Yeah, but that part, that part, I guess it's the chorus.
I don't think the song has a chorus.
Right.
I think
if you could call it that.
Yeah.
Too soon you saw the whole that section just gives me goosebumps.
It's
man.
so good.
Yeah.
And he keeps building it, like with a torch in your pocket, your wind at your
like
heels. You
part.
climbed a ladder, and you know how it feels. Where was the one though? That's what he's talking about at the end. Yes, you climbed on the ladder with the wind at your sails, and you came like a comet. You blazed your trail, but you were too high, too far, too soon.
Right.
You saw the whole of the moon. Stop.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like it's almost like it's like Icarus, like going too high into the sun and burning up.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And falling out of the sky. But I do appreciate that it's not a fade out. That's the type of song that you would just expect to just.
yeah, because it could. There's no reason for it not to fade out unless it was very much an artistic decision of like, no, I want to symbolize.
Totally. Yeah.
This is finite.
Yeah.
This person's gone.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people interpret that last "you climbed on the ladder with the wind in your sails" as an allusion to suicide.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Someone rising to their highest achievements, but then too high, too far, too soon suggests loss.
Okay.
And they said, like, think of people like Sylvia Plath and Vincent van Gogh, etc. People who see and create beauty but burn out.
Yeah.
Which is
I just think it's an incredible song.
Cool.
And the sheer fact that I was just like, okay, I found a loophole. This was on one US chart ever.
Cool. Yeah.
It's like I need to talk because this song has literally been, since I discovered this song in 2019, it has been in my Spotify Wrapped every year for the last 6 years or whatever. Because I just once a day I listen to this song probably.
Right. But that is cool that songs can be added to your list. You know,
well into your 30s. You think I feel like people think that
it's
once you get past like 20 something, it's like you've heard all the songs you're ever gonna love.
Right. Yeah.
no.
Right.
People act like that though. You know that they do.
Yeah, I think people that don't love music or something or don't whatever. I mean, I hear a song. I would say,
I'd say about a song
day.
a week. That I would say you average at least a song a week that you rediscover.
More than one a week,
yeah.
but maybe not one every day. It just depends on how much I get to listen to music that day.
Sure.
But I think it's cool. I have one playlist. It's probably 600 or 700 songs now.
Yeah.
Every time I hear a song I like, could be an old song, could be a brand new song, could be anything.
It's everything playlist.
Yeah. And then I can add it to that list. And just, if I'm getting in the car, I hit shuffle on that list. It's like my own personal.
Yeah.
It's all me curated. Yeah. So anytime I hear a cool, you sent me a song a couple weeks ago, a Fugazi song.
Yeah.
It's
put it on.
It's part of my life rotation of music now.
Awesome.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Paul, I want to ask you, as a songwriter and as a person who likes this song, would this be a song that in your mind, like you would strive to create something like this, or is this something where you're almost like, I could only take this in as an admiration at this point?
No, I mean, like, I wish I thought of that hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like, that's a great hook.
Yeah.
That part I was talking about, I don't know what to call it.
Saw the whole of
I mean,
the
the payoff line or whatever. Yeah.
I feel like this would be, as someone who's not a songwriter, this song seems intimidating.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, I don't think I can ever write a song.
Right.
This song's so well structured to me that I'm just like, oh, well, I can play 4 chords and sing a song about dicks.
Whatever.
What do I got? What can I bring to the table?
Yeah.
This isn't necessarily one of those songs that I think is impossible. I mean, I think
Sure,
lyrically, and there's a lot of building, but I think
composition of it, right, is just like so complex and like so it just sounds epic, but like the song itself isn't.
It's a simple song, but
right, and the bum 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 bum, it just goes right down the scale on some of those, but it's like new sounds every time doing this, like and I'm just a sucker for those simple melodies that but it's just the sounds are coming from everywhere.
I think also for me, this is one of those songs that every time I listen to it, I catch new things in there.
Yeah.
Like when we were in the kitchen listening to it, that was the first time I really caught like, oh, there's just like a girl singing a harmony in the background of this instrumental part.
It almost sounds like, it almost sounds synth ish or something. I don't know. It's crazy. But it's a crazy song.
I get why they referred to this era as big music.
Yeah.
Because it is like, I think that he had to go to folky music after this because he probably was like, I don't know if I can recreate this. How do I do this live at this point?
Like, do you think that we, over the course of our whatever, we've been playing music together for a long time, recorded a lot of songs together over the years. It's not just me and you, it's everybody we are involved with for the most part. We always go overboard on the recordings.
Sure.
We go way overboard on like, never have we done maybe a demo or something. Drums, a bass, two guitars, and just as many vocals as you could do live.
Yeah.
Just the people. It's always like so many layers of things, like crazy. When you open a session, it is a ridiculous amount of things happening always. We've always done that.
Well, now, that session might look extreme, but like it's all not happening at once, of course. But so there's chunks. But dude, yeah, for sure. It's so easy to, throw too much in. Yeah.
We've always been guilty of that, I think.
But it's almost like, why would you not? You should take advantage. Why not? I mean, take advantage of what you can do. I mean, there's a good argument for it that like your record's supposed to be the best representation of your songs. You know what I mean?
I guess I've always been a proponent of more is more.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say with this is that I love and have loved this song so much that I have been afraid to listen to anything else by the Waterboys, because I'm just like, what if everything else sucks?
You don't want to be a letdown. Yeah.
So this was the first time I checked it out. I am a Waterboys fan.
Right.
I will be tracking down as many of these records as I can get my hands on.
Yeah.
I liked every song that I was like, the Celtic stuff did it for me.
Really?
The rootsy stuff. I love Celtic music.
All the rest of his music?
I just shuffled all of, I picked a song from every album and just picked them at random. And I could not find an album where I grabbed a song I didn't love.
And he's like a super big deal in the UK?
Like, I think he's a big deal in the UK, kind of comparable to what you said, like the Magnetic Fields. Like, they had a couple hits here and there, but like they're just that band. They're like a band's band.
Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Fields.
Edward, sorry, I'm thinking of Magnetic Fields.
Yeah,
is a different.
That's a good band.
Yeah, they're also a good band.
But different band. Yeah.
I guess you're going Thunder then on this.
Oh, 100% going Thunder on this.
Yeah, we're hearing him rave. Yeah, I guess you are too, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say Thunder. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, it's a controversial pick. It is not a hit.
Right. Yeah. But I figured like let's give it a moment to shine. Yeah.
Okay, if we're giving it I don't really care about this song, to be honest. Like, I see all your points. The lyrics are good. The lyrics are cool, and I like songs that build. I'll probably never listen to I'm going to be honest. I'll never listen to this song again.
Devastating.
If it's on in the background, maybe I won't turn it off, but I probably wouldn't put it on. Maybe I'll change my tune if I hear it more or something, but it kind of just, I don't know. But you guys love it so much that I guess I got.
Don't feel guilted into it.
I mean, I can't.
Can it just be?
I would argue that it's neither. It's not. Sure. It's not one hit Thunder or Blunder because it's not a hit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's kind of a hit.
It's a hit everywhere but here, really.
Apparently, it meets the criteria.
Okay.
In some way,
but you don't have to.
Don't let us bully you into this just because it's one of the songs that breaks my heart every time I listen to it.
Oh, it's Matt's talking about how he's going to cry before we record this episode. Now I'm going to give it a. Oh, it's a blunder. This song's.
I have to admit,
it's a blunder.
Matt's excitement for this song made me like it a lot more too.
Okay.
So
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll give it a Thunder.
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah. Take that. This has been One Hit Thunder. One Hit Thunder is hosted by Chris Sofalios of the band Punchline and produced by Matt Kelly of Geekscape.net. Underneath me, you're hearing Time and a Picture off the Punchline album Action. Visit punchlinemusic.com for any upcoming news on the band. Our podcast is on Patreon now. Find us at patreon.com/OHT podcast for early access to episodes, bonus conversations, and a chance to vote on future songs for us to cover. Make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting app, and tune in next week for more One Hit Thunder.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.
Hey, this is Steve Choi, host of the Musicians Guild podcast, part of the Sound Talent Media Podcast Network. Within the four walls of the Musicians Guild, we'll be discussing the habits, idiosyncrasies, experiences, and general psychology of my friends and peers, all involved with music in various capacities. Listen and subscribe at soundtalentmedia.com.
Bowie, Dylan, Marley. You've heard the names and maybe you've heard their songs, but what about the stories behind the records that made titans of music like these so universally loved and important? Join me, Josh Adam Myers, host of The 500, as each week I go through a different album from Rolling Stone magazine's 500 Greatest Albums list from 2012 with an incredible lineup of comedians, actors, and musicians talking about how the music has impacted their lives. New episodes of The 500 come out every Wednesday. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.